Thank you, Mr. Gualtieri. Good morning, Fairfield Prep. I come to you this morning to join you in prayer and offer some reflection about this historical moment. Yesterday, as a nation, we watched in horror as a riotous mob stormed the United States Capitol. The incident was heartbreaking, disconcerting, and jarring, and no doubt many of us find ourselves in the midst of still processing the magnitude of this moment. I do want to state right up front that Fairfield Prep joins with the Jesuit and Catholic leaders across the nation today in unilaterally condemning the heinous violence and insurrection in Washington, D.C. As faithful citizens, everything we witnessed, from the hateful degradation of our governing institutions to Nazi symbols, Confederate flags, and even weapons on display in the halls of the Capitol, is a stain on the dignity of our democracy. It flies in the face of every ethical, spiritual, and intellectual value we teach you as boys at Prep and as men for others. So how do we respond to such times? Well, we return to our Jesuit Catholic roots and our values. Our Jesuit intellectual spiritual roots in the United States, as many of you know, reach as far back as Bishop John Carroll to the founding of Georgetown University in 1789. For nearly 240 years in the United States, graduates of our Jesuit schools have served at the highest levels of US government, the armed forces, the foreign service, and even the presidency itself. Ours is a long tradition of developing servant leaders, men and women for others who serve not for themselves, but for the greater glory of God in our nation. Our own beloved past president, Father Tom Simiski himself, served our country first as a Marine infantry officer, and then the church as a Jesuit priest. Our American civic history has known Jesuit graduates as diverse as the late Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia, a graduate of Xavier High School in Manhattan, to Democratic President Bill Clinton, who graduated from Georgetown University. A rich tradition of service. However, political life in this country without virtue, without civic education and intellectual integrity can lead to moments such as this. In times of personal and national crisis, we naturally return to our Jesuit values and our faith. In order to honor our Jesuit tradition, it is imperative that we hold you boys and ourselves to the highest standards of intellectual discourse and rigor in the days ahead. And in all things, we must be loving. Loving is our theme for this academic year, the grad at grad, to be a loving man for others, a deep love of brotherhood that sees the dignity of every single human person. I believe the first steps in healing our national wounds is to act locally, right here at Prep, and to never place each other in cartoon versions of a left or right political faction, but rather to understand first and honor the role we all have as educated American citizens. As Jesuit Ignatian men and women for others, we're called to renew our own traditions, intellectual rigor, and respectful dialogue and discourse. While the Jesuit tradition has produced much political action and social justice over the decades, it is always, as you know, first rooted in the Gospels, contemplation, and academic rigor. Now more than ever at Fairfield Prep, we can and we must demonstrate to our community and even to our leaders in Washington that civil discourse and respectful debate of ideas can still exist in our nation. Fairfield Prep can be a beacon of light in dark times, as we have since 1942 on North Benson Road. Finally, let us continue to pray for our leaders, for civil servants, for first responders, and all who currently struggle and suffer on the margins. And let us not forget that we continue to navigate a global pandemic in which thousands of our brothers and sisters suffer and die daily. If any of you have concerns or wish to reflect on any of these issues further, please know that the doors of Prep leadership, of your teachers, of your counselors remain open to you at all times. We are so very blessed to have the Prep community and brotherhood to rely on in this time. Your dedication and commitment to Prep, to our mission, sustains us every day. So God bless our vital work in this time. Hail Prep, and God bless you. I'd like